I'm here with the living room's Baz Dubois. Baz, welcome to Clipsal. I hear you are a big motorsport lover.
I love all sports, but motorsports is very easy to get addicted to. The energy down here on the track is amazing.
And do you have a favourite driver?
I was very lucky. I jumped in the car with Mark Winterbottom. Amazing experience. So I've sort of bonded with Mark because of that drive, so I'm supporting him.
It must be nice for you today to have a little bit of a break from the set of the living room, because I hear you guys have been working really, really hard.
Incredibly hard. We're doing all the renos as usual. Miguel's cooking. He actually goes to the jungle and visits Chris. And Amanda this week learns to drive a rally car, which is very confusing for her because she didn't know where that third pedal was meant to go.
And you've got a Father's Day special coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I want to make over the ultimate garage this year for Father's Day, so I'm looking for a very special dad that deserves that.
All right, well, thank you so much for the chat today, Baz, and enjoy the Clipsal.
Hard not to enjoy it. It's fantastic.
Now, I've been told that Baz also has a pretty handy garage collection himself. We'll be catching up with him throughout the season on RPM. Very exciting news. The show returns on Sunday at 4 p.m. Our first guest lineup is a beauty, includes Mark Webber and Bathurst champion Chaz Mostert. So don't miss it. RPM is back, folks. Well, the Porsches have had so far 2 races here at the Clipsal 500, and Stephen Richards has been completely unbeatable. Can they catch him in race 3? Let's find out with your commentators, Alex Davison and Chad Nayland.
The sun is beaming down on the Adelaide Parkland circuit, and Stephen Richards will start from position number 1, trying to pick up a third race win, but I'm hearing murmurs that Beardo, being the wily old dog that he is, has saved a set for this one, and David Russell, I can confirm, has green tyres ready to go.
Absolutely. Beardo definitely has a fresh set of tyres for this race. Steve Richards used his better set in race 2, so it will be interesting to see if that can give Beardo the pace to get out in front and get a race win under his belt. Tony Bates starting first in the challenge class today, finishing 10th outright in race 2 yesterday, so he'll be looking to take out the Tag Heuer challenge class round.
So it's going to be Stephen Richards off the front. This race will go for 12 laps, the final race of the first round. Alex Davison, a man who has won at this round before, standing alongside me. And on 5 separate years, the winner of the round at Adelaide, including yourself, have gone on to win the championship. You did it back in 2004.
Well, Steve Richards will be happy with that stat. We've got the final cars gritting up here. We'll hear the guys get him up on the roof and get him flat on the throttle. 9,000 RPM getting ready for those red lights to go out.
Baird versus Richards, who gets the initial jump?
Steve Richards got a fantastic start. He's done just enough to get in front of Craig Baird, I'm sure. It's not a corner where you can lunge up the inside, and Steve Richards leads into turn 1 in race 3 of the Porsche Carrera Cup.
Man, Russell got a good jump too, so he'll edge in front of Nick McBride.
Ash Samadi going over the curbs at the back of the grid, but everyone gets through cleanly. David Russell attacking Craig Begg round the outside. Mike Arman, fantastic move around the outside of turn 4. Not the easy way round there, and makes up a spot.
Going the long way. Got Cameron McConville in this race as well. He's a few cars ahead of him at the moment. There's Fraser Ross. He's tucked up behind Tony Bates, who's having an outstanding weekend in the challenge class. There he is, just taking the right-hander to get onto the back straight.
I mean,
mopping it up.
We talk about Steve Richards having a clean sweep. Tony Bates is also trying to have a clean sweep in the challenge class. Very important competition. These guys take it very seriously. And to be in front of one of our pro competitors in Fraser Ross is someone with a big brake lockup we didn't see, but heard out of shot there. Tony Bates driving a bit defensive, trying to hold Fraser Ross behind. Shane Smollen, also one of our leading Tag Heuer Challenge competitors, trying to charge his way through the field after getting taken out by Tony Bates in race 2 yesterday.
Despite the grid penalty that Bates got for that, he still managed to hold on to that class victory in Tag Heuer Carrera Cup Challenge. Here is last year's Challenge champion riding aboard with Stephen Grove as he takes the last corner, lights it up onto the front straight.
Stephen driving nice and smoothly there. Not having as competitive a weekend as he would like, but he's going to be one of the leading challenge competitors throughout the year. Now, interesting to see Steve Richards driving away and getting a nice gap when we know Craig Baird has the fresher tyres. So, I mean,
tyre pressures?
Could be tyre pressures. Craig, a bit of a master at setting his tyre pressures. Historically sets them to be quick on the first few laps. But look, we'll wait and see if this race settles down, if Beardo can come back later in the event. But that'll be a big psychological advantage for Stephen Richards, knowing he doesn't have the fresher tyres and still driving away. Currently nearly got it out to a second.
Looking for a clean sweep, Tony Bates. In the challenge class, he's sitting pretty at the moment. The car behind him is a pro category class as well, so he's looking quite good at the moment. Roger Largo is second in class, and Adrian Mastronado third in class at the moment in challenges. A few guys going up the inside at Stephen Grove, and also the poor and stranded man of Campbell, who's having a pretty dogged weekend in the car that won all 3 races here last year. Burnt the clutch out in the first race and didn't really go anywhere from there. Yeah,
look, Matt Campbell having a tougher weekend than we anticipated. Obviously getting caught out in the debacle that was the start in the first race. He showed unbelievable, a big move up the inside of Adrian Mastronado there. That's a fantastic move. Matt Campbell showing awesome pace throughout practice and even in qualifying. Doesn't have the racing experience that we see some of our more experienced pro guys have, so probably struggled to get through the field as cleanly as Nick Foster did in race 2, but I'm still confident as the year goes on we're going to see great things from Matt Campbell in the McElroy Racing entry.
Fraser Ross goes up the inside of Tony Bates. It's not for position, so Bates knows that it's not worth arguing. Although having said that, Roger Largo's closing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always a little bit awkward when the guys at the back of the pro race are racing with the leaders in the challenge class, because they are racing against each other for position in their outright result, but not for points in their respective championships. So great racing by Tony Bates, letting Fraser go through when he clearly had the position. But you've got to keep an eye on the guy second in class, Roger Largo, who's also a hard charger.
Both Largo and Fraser Ross, former GT3 Cup Challenge champions, so too is Richard Muscat. So all 3 of them are in this race, and that's a good sign that the older generation cars are being used and bringing younger generation drivers into the series.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic ladder Porsche in Australia have set up with the GT3 Cup Challenge and then the Porsche Carrera Cup. Out in front, we've got Steve Richards continuing to extend that gap. It's just gone out to 1.2 seconds. So on board with Stephen now, looking really comfortable, beautifully smooth all weekend. Every time we've been on board with Steve, look, no hand movement, no corrections. He was telling me yesterday he's really comfortable with the handling of his car. Couldn't be happier. Craig Baird pushing hard and under a lot of pressure from the hard-charging David Russell. Let's watch this battle for second. Dave Russell won't hold back, and we know if there's half a gap, he'll try and put his full car in there.
Oh, Armin just gets the rev limiter before taking the right-hander down at turn 6. And again,
a lot of rev limiter there. I mean, with the paddle shift, that does give you the opportunity to shift up the third quickly back to second, which you don't really have that opportunity with a mechanical shifter. But yeah, not a big deal there. Seating the valves nicely.
It's not your job to go fixing that stuff later, is it?
Exactly.
Matt Campbell, by the way, I should mention, has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.2. So the young hard charger from Warwick in Queensland pushing hard for McElroy Racing. Haven't McElroy had a rough weekend? All 3 cars have been in the wars, including Spike Goddard's, who might need a bit of a reshell, I've heard, before the next round of the championship, maybe. All 3 of their Australian GT cars as well have been in the wars.
Horrible weekend. They're going to have a busy couple of weeks back at the workshop in Yatala, that's for sure.
Okay, Michael Armin, let's ride on board with him. He has won a race before in the Touring Car Masters, the Buick Motorsport prepared older model Porsche. Alex, talk us through the centre chicane.
Down to 4th gear. Difficult to get the cars cleanly over that curb, but Mike Armin does a great job shifting up the 5th. He'll brake just after the Clipsal Bridge. Very bumpy. The car's just about pulling air under brakes into turn 4. Through this section, you really got to concentrate on flowing the car, keeping plenty of corner speed up, and then accelerating hard in between those corners. Hitting the limiter a little bit, rolling it through the centre at 7. The centre at 7. Again, concentrating now to get a fast exit out of turn 7 onto the long back straight up to the treacherous turn 8.
Can you have a breath there? Can you relax for a second?
It's hard to relax when you know turn 8's coming up, but that's over 200 kilometres an hour mid-corner speed with these guys. About 205 kilometres an hour mid-corner speed. Light dab of the brake, nearly limiter in 5th gear, and hard braking back to 1st gear. Most of the guys are using 1st at the hairpin here. Got to be very careful not to try and get on the gas while you're still rotating the car. You'll get a lot of understeer.
Just out through turn 11, and that is a nice onboard lap with a young up-and-coming star from South Australia, Richard Muscat. But at the moment, it's still Stephen Richards out front. So that lead, 1.4 seconds. Local yellows for Fraser Ross's Porsche, which is still stuck in a very awkward spot. I wonder if this will end up bringing out a safety car. He lost the rear on entry, and unfortunately Matt Campbell just clips him on the way through.
Matt needed to stay on the brakes, not try and squeeze through that gap. Obviously what's happened there with that contact, it's damaged Fraser Ross's right-hand front steering, and he wasn't able to turn the car around. I mean, what he still could have done is, got 450 horsepower, get it up on the rev limiter, dump the clutch, get the car turned around and get it out of the way. But these are all things Fraser will learn with experience.
And those are the things that you pros make look easy, flick turns.
Unfortunate that a harmless spin has ended up putting him out of the race. You know, very unlucky. But anyway, back on board with Michael Armour, doing a great job in 7th position, only a couple of spots and within striking distance of his more experienced teammate Cam McConville. Richard Muscat is keeping them separated at the moment. Great battle there, sort of 4th, 5th, 6th position.
So the locals are going to try and move that car away from turn 4.
And here we go, through the centre chicane, on board with Stephen Richards. Beautifully smooth over those curbs. Craig Baird veering to the left to get his car square for the braking zone. They'll be seeing the double wave yellow, so it's a tricky situation. Those guys will they don't want to lose time by taking it too easy, but they cannot risk even locking a brake, running wide or anything. One, for safety reasons with the car stranded there. Two, if they're seen to have, you know, run wide or locked a brake or be even a little bit out of control, they'll get their wrist slapped.
Yeah, it's a bit of a no-no going fast through those areas. Turning out to be a little bit of a battle here between Cameron McConville, who's in his debut meeting for Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. And he's chasing down Nick McBride through turn 8.
And look, Cam's been a bit of a quiet achiever this weekend. He's gradually improved his pace in every outing. We know he's going to get right on the pace once he gets comfortable with these Carrera Cup cars. But, you know, he's up to 5th and pressuring Nick McBride in 4th place. Nick McBride's had a great weekend, one of his better weekends so far. 3rd in both the first 2 races. He'll be looking for his, I think, his first Carrera Cup Australia podium, which would be a fantastic result.
Unfortunately, at the moment, he's just slightly off the pace to make it there. The way that they sit on the racetrack is how they'll stand on the podium at the moment.
So that'll be a bit of motivation for Nick McBride to keep pushing. Hopefully someone's on his radio saying, we've got to make up this position to David Russell. Come on, push that little bit harder. Tony Bates still out in front in the Tag Heuer Challenge class, comfortably over Roger Largo. He's opened up those two guys in 10th and 11th outright.
1.9 second gap between those two. Oy, losing the rear, but nice save, Mastronado. And that looks like he's going to go down a spot now in the challenge category.
Ash Shamadi, great move up the inside there of Adrian Mastronado. Bit of a power slide on the exit of the final corner for Adrian.
Maybe his tyres starting to get a little bit old as well, to pick up the class leader. And the front 3 in class for Tag Heuer Challenge is actually quite good right now. They're all close on the road, but we've just about a lap and a half to go. Roger Largo's going to have to get a wriggle on here if he wants to chase him down.
Tony Bates doing a great job to extend that lead. Got it out to about 1.5 seconds. Similar lead that Stephen Richards has over Craig Baird. Roger Largo, very experienced driver, also races in the GT Championship. Saw him at the 12-hour in his Lamborghini Gallardo.
So I'm not sure if anyone's got an answer for Stephen Richards.
No.
First time ever that Stephen Richards has gone into a season with the #1 plate on his car. That's not to say he's never won a championship, but he's just never been there to back one up the next year.
Back on board with Mike Arman in this fantastic battle between Cameron McConville, Richard Muscat and himself, Michael Arman. Simon Hodge also right behind Arman, putting plenty of pressure on. So this is a fantastic 4-way battle.
McBride's managed to gap these guys, but it won't be enough at the moment to catch up to Russell and Baird, unless Russell has a stab maybe down at turn 9. Is he going to be close enough? Needs to get a good run through the corner where he scraped the wall yesterday to have any shot at doing this.
Not quite close enough, but if he gets a good run through there, you never know. He's too far back. I mean, Craig Baird's not going to be braking 10 metres too early. They're all right on the limit, so that'd be suicide having a go from there. And then Cam McConville defending into turn 9. Richard Muscat following him down there, just looking for any opportunity to get past on the last lap. The red mist always comes down on the last lap. he'll be thinking about this last corner lunge into the final corner of the circuit here. Steve Richards comfortable out in front. No one's going to get near him. We don't see professionals like Steve making mistakes on the last corner very often.
And how about this? Checkered flag for Stephen Richards. He'll go perfect for the first round in Adelaide. And the number 1 man looks to defend that championship. Tony Bates will come across for first place as well in Tag Heuer Challenge. Here he comes right now. That gap looking steady. Back to Roger Largo. It's close though between Bates, Largo and Smolin, but 3 from 3 in both classes. Good drive from Smolin to close that gap, and I think Tony's pretty happy with his efforts.
Yeah, that's a fantastic weekend. I'm pretty sure that's Tony's first clean sweep in Carrera Cup, and not easy to do. So we've got 2 clean sweeps in both of the categories in the Australian Carrera Cup this weekend. Well done, Tony Bates.
Like we said earlier, 5 times the round winner from Adelaide has gone on to win the championship. Let's check out how they finished up. Stephen Richards is the man here in Adelaide. It's the first time he's won the entire round here. Craig Baird will have to be back in second for a change, something that he's not used to here. He's won plenty of times here. Nick McBride will just miss out on the podium, but congratulations, David Russell, on being on the podium in his 30th round start. And also congratulations to Tony Bates on taking out Carrera Cup Challenge.
Yeah, that really is a perfect weekend for Stephen Richards. 3 out of 3 race wins in the Porsche Carrera Cup. Of course, he knows this circuit very well. He spent many years here in the V8 Supercars as well. Don't forget the final race of the V8s are still to come, with James Courtney starting on pole position. And here's a beauty. Shannon's offering you the chance to win a trip to Italy, France and Monaco, attending one of the world's premier historic race events, the Monaco Historics. Now, it includes return economy airfares for 2, 10 nights accommodation, car hire, tickets to an Italian supercar tour, the 2016 historic race and a whole lot more, and up to $5 grand spending money if you're a Shannon's Club member. How do you do it? Well, just go to shannons.com.au/Monaco or call 13 46 46 and get a quote on your car, your bike or your home insurance to be part of it. We'll be back right after this.